I would have loved to see Toni Storm versus Kairi Sane in the finals. But I guess I'll have to settle for it in the semifinals. Let's talk about episode 7. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with episode 7 of the Mae Young Classic. The final 4 are set. Let's talk about it. Abby Lathan taking on Mercedes Martinez. Now, Abby Lathan, fan favorite, very popular. She's got the whole Mae Young gator clutch, you know, she's the emotional, she's the sentimental favorite in the match. Mercedes Martinez is terrifying. And I'm going to say that in the next match as well. Test of strength to start, and a mule kick breaks that up by Martinez. Front slam by Lathan, a gator roll by Martinez. Uppercut and a side headlock by Martinez. Wrist lock into a head scissor by Lathan. They trade some chops. Forearms in the corner by Martinez. Running kick to the back by Martinez. A jawbreaker and a couple arm drags by Lathan, followed by a spin kick. Forearms by Lathan. Chops in the corner. They trade some punches, and there's a lot of chops, but there's one that's evil by Mercedes Martinez. Takes Abby Lathan down to one knee, sort of like, you know, let it sink in for a second type thing. Bicycle kick by Lathan, and you knew it was going to happen sooner or later. Abby Lathan in the corner with the say it loud and say it proud, the Daniel Bryan silly kicks. Oh yes, forearm and a haluva kick by Martinez, hesitation drop kick by the hesitation drop kick by Martinez was really fucking nice too. Top rope crossbody on the outside by Lathan, bridging German suplex by Lathan, and a boot by Martinez. The alligator clutch is reversed into the now somewhat famous Fisherman Buster by Mercedes Martinez for the win. Great match. Pretty sure WWE is going to do something with Abby Lathan. I'm just putting that one out there. Mercedes Martinez goes on to face either Candice LeRae or Shayna Baszler. Speaking of scary fucking women. I know who I want it to be, because I want one of the quarterfinals to be an absolute fucking brawl. But, doesn't really matter what I want. What matters is we're going to find out in about 10 seconds in the next match. And it's short. It's really short. Candice LeRae versus Shayna Baszler. Shayna turns away the handshake. She doesn't kick it away. She doesn't swat it. She's not, you know, she doesn't attack her or anything like that. Candice LeRae puts her hand out there, and Shayna Baszler just, you know, doing one of these. Completely turns her back to the handshake. Hip attack by Shayna, followed by boots to the face. She's tossed out of the ring by LeRae. Candice LeRae hits what has got to be one of the prettiest maneuvers in this tournament so far. You know, gets a good head of steam, hits a suicide tornado DDT on the steel ramp. Gets her back in the ring, gets her in an octopus stretch, but then thinks twice about it, looks out to her husband in the audience, locks in the Gargano escape, which made me laugh. If there was going to be a payoff from the directors, the cameramen, the commentators, etc., paying so much attention to Johnny Gargano in the crowd, it is his wife using the Gargano escape against Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler, though, is a monster. Eventually just stands up in the Gargano escape and turns it into a side slam. Miss LeRae's wild ride is transitioned mid-air into that choke body scissor combination of Baszler's, and Baszler gets the win. We've got Baszler versus Martinez in the semifinals. Gargano checks on his wife, Shayna comes over, and you think for one split second you're going to have that show of respect. You know, she doesn't have to respect her, but at least, you know, pick her up, shake her hand, whatever. No, she walks by Johnny Gargano, gives her a little kick, and fucks off. I put Baszler in NXT, like, right now. Toni Storm versus Piper Nevin, and I don't want to say that this is the best match of the tournament because I'm incredibly biased, but by and large this is the most fun, the most enjoyable match in the tournament so far. They do the handshake, and it's a couple second handshake, the two of them showing a lot of respect to each other before the match, but then there's a collar and elbow tie-up. Storm knocks Nevin knocks Storm into the corner where she's knocked everybody else at the beginning of every match, and she goes to give her the knock on the chin, but Storm reverses it, and Storm gives Nevin the knock on the chin, and I'm just sitting here as somebody who's already a fan of Toni Storm saying, fuck yes. I figured somewhere else later in the match that Nevin would get her down and do herself. She never does. Spoiler alert. There's a test of strength, and Toni lifts Nevin with the bridge. She goes for a pin. The test of strength, Nevin arches Storm all the way over, and Storm's flexible as fuck. But she's in a pinning situation. She arches up. Nevin tries to jump all of her weight onto Storm. Storm bridges up again with all of Nevin's weight on top of her, and again, as I've been saying all the way along, no offense to Nevin, but that's impressive because Nevin's big, and then she follows it up with a monkey flip, to which I really want to make the joke that's one big monkey, but it's there. They do a little bit of chain wrestling where they're both flat on their backs. They've both done a series of monkey flips. They both bridge up at the same time. They both sort of like do the bridge on their heads, sort of like a Bray Wyatt thing. They see each other, how they're mirroring each other, and they shake each other's hands while they're in the bridge. That's cocky. I like it, and it's entertaining. So they get up. Storm works the arm. Nevin reverses and takes her down. Standing splash by Nevin, which is going to hurt. I'm just saying. Corner splash by Nevin, which is also going to hurt. I'm just saying. Running crossbody by Nevin in a cravat. They trade headbutts, they trade headbutts, and then Nevin with a snapmare, a splash, and a running senton on Storm. Backstabber by Storm. Here's the thing I don't like, though. People using a backstabber type maneuver on somebody the size of Piper Nevin, it would be the same as Jericho doing it to the Big Show in the men's division. How are you not fucking up your own knees doing that? That's my only little tiny thing. Backstabber by Storm and gets her in the corner with those hip attacks. Michinoku driver by Nevin, but Storm kicks out. Oh yes, cannonball by Nevin, and she goes to do the Vader bomb again, but Storm back suplexes Nevin off the second rope to pretty much the center of the ring. I don't know how you're not impressed with that. She's not going to do the total zero neck breaker thing that she does, because Nevin's quite large. But she does manage to hit a top rope leg drop for the win. Toni Storm goes on to face either Dakota Kai or Kairi Sane, and we know who it's going to be, let's be real. But, that's a great match for next round. Big hugs, big congratulations. Both the girls are crying for what they've achieved so far. It's all good. It's a very nice feel-good moment. And like I said, this match, in addition to being really good and being a really good showcase, especially for Toni Storm, this was a fun match to watch. In the back, we finally see the showdown between the horsewomen and the horsewomen. So you've got... JR says we're going to throw it to the back to talk to the UFC 4 horsewomen. They're going to talk about the success of their friend Baszler, whatever. And you've got Ronda Rousey and the other two. I'm sorry, I don't know their names. I don't follow UFC, but whatever. She's the reason. She's Shayna, the reason Baszler. Like, she's the reason you watch. She's the reason we're here, etc. And then you've got Charlotte and Bayley and Becky Lynch walking by. And here's the thing, it's supposed to be a stare down, right? The women of WWE are kind of looking like divas. They're all in their not fancy, like super tuxedo type shit, but they're dressed relatively nice, and their hair is all done all nice and wonderful, and they're made to look glamorous, like the women of WWE are. The UFC women are all there in their jeans and t-shirts and look like they're ready for a fight, which is what makes this stare down very lopsided and not very effective. But also the fact that if you're going to do 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen, not only are you missing Shayna Baszler, who should be the focus right now, you're also missing Sasha Banks. So it's the 3 horsewomen versus the 3 horsewomen, and if that's what we're getting at some random pay-per-view, that doesn't make any sense at all. But Ronda Rousey steps up to Charlotte Flair, which is the match that everybody wants to see, apparently, and she just says, name the time and the place, and I think one of the WWE girls says, well, not now, which makes them look like shit. I'm just putting that one out there. Dakota Kai versus Kairi Sane, and the urge to say Dakota Kairi Sane is real. I said it. I think I said it in the last video. If I didn't, I'm going to say it now. Kairi Sane, not Kairi Sane. Dakota Kai is Bayley done properly. Before WWE fucked Bayley up, Kairi Sane is the clear favorite of, let's be real, everybody. But we get into this, and they talk about. The commentators make a really, really good point, because neither one of these girls is that big. So this is the first time in this tournament that they're not, you know, fighting up to a larger opponent, which is an interesting little thing. It makes it the cruiserweight match of the tournament, I suppose. There's a handshake, collar and elbow tie-up, and a wrist lock by Sane is reversed by Kai. Armbar by Sane, a headlock and a snapmare, collar and elbow again, and they trade some strikes. You know, what do? We got the strong style thing, so we have submissions and we strike. So we throw in some submissions and we strike. Chops in a blockbuster by Sane, chops in the corner by Kai, who tosses her off the top rope. Mudhole by Kai and a broski boot style knee strike. She goes and she runs, and it might have been the same time last time I said this. She goes, and the way she approaches it is exactly the same way Zack Ryder would approach the broski boot, but I think she curls her leg at the last minute and actually hits it with the knee. So if I made that mistake in my last video, I do apologize. Forearms by Sane and a high knee strike by Kai. Spear by Sane, and Jim Ross makes a point of telling us that's the first time she's done it in the tournament. You know, really putting over Kai, saying, like, you know, hey, she had to pull something new out of her bag of tricks because Kai's so great and all that. Chops and a dropkick. Double stomp by Sane. Snake eyes by Kai. Haluva kick by Kai and a back fist by Sane. Kai misses the corner double stomp, the Alberto Del Rio Tree of Woe double stomp that she did just one episode ago. And from then on, we're speculating as to the health of her knee. I was thinking at this point in the match, if they're going to write her out of the tournament based on an injury, not based on Kairi Sane beating her, that's a bit shit. But there's a forearm off the top rope by Sane, and a running forearm, and a spin kick by Kai, Alabama slam by Sane, and an insane elbow drop by Kairi Sane, getting her the win. I would have loved to be more into this match. I really would have. What last match had over this match is I was concerned, as somebody who, as I say, is a fan of Toni Storm, I was concerned that they might push Piper Nevin all the way to the end. There was no point in this match where I thought Kairi Sane wasn't winning it, and that's what pulls back from this match a little bit. Great match. Great outing by both women in this match. Probably one of the better in-ring matches of the tournament, but it has that predictability factor where you know who's winning. And that's been the one problem with all the Kairi Sane matches, is it's very clear that WWE is on her, and if she doesn't win the whole thing, I'm pretty sure she's going to be number 2. Doesn't take away from it. I mean, I like Kairi Sane. I hope they sign her. I hope they put her in a prominent spot. You know, they need somebody like insanely, you know, cult following type that she has now that Asuka's on the shelf, and when she's off the shelf, she'll be on the main roster. We're going to be talking about that later on tonight on NXT, I bet you anything. But yeah, it's pretty much set in stone, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't have picked out a Final Four better myself. The Final Four, the semifinals for this tournament, are Baszler versus Martinez, which is going to be an ugly brawl, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be Kairi Sane versus Toni Storm, and really you win either way on that one. Anyways, that's all I got to say for now. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.